Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable. Ah.
When England decided to begin its colonization of Australia, then known as New South Wales, it was deemed necessary to help bolster the number of voluntary colonists with prisoners and undesirables. But when you send all your prisoners to be colonists, where do you send the prisoners who can't function as colonists? Answer: Tasmania. One notable location was a timber station turned prison that had begun its service in 1830. This prison housed the worst of the worst from all over Australia, repeat offenders who could not serve a purpose even in a penal colony full of convicts. Guests of the prison were subjected to draconian isolation treatments and backbreaking hard labor. It's no mystery why a number of prisoners decided to resort to suicide as a means of escape. With this much torture and pain all concentrated into one area, it doesn't come as much of a surprise that this area is now known as one of Australia's top most haunted locations. This case file, the theorists get in a tizzy over Tassie and say g'day to the ghosts of Port Arthur.
Welcome to Alien Theorist Theorizing! Case File 99! Port Arthur Haunting. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Byron.
He's back.
He's back, baby. It's only taken us 99 case files in 3 years to figure out how to fucking listen to the theme song live.
Not for lack of trying. We have tried this multiple times.
We did it a couple times, but it's I got it all figured out now. I got my iPad sampler. I got all the music on here. You just wait.
Just wait. I can't wait. This is exciting. Well, should we get right into some space news? Space news. Wow. That's what that sounds like? Unbelievable. Wow.
I think I've heard like a total of like 3 times before.
Yeah. It's so exciting. I got the Stratolaunch plane makes its first flight. The giant aircraft takes off on its first test flight April 13th. Well, it took off from the Mojave Air and Spaceport in California.
Sweet.
The largest in the world by wingspan. Oh, it's crazy. Top speed of 278 kilometers per hour and an altitude of 4,570 meters. No, it's pretty fucking slow for a plane.
Going.
Huge, though.
But it's
gigantic.
It's fucking massive. Look up a picture if you haven't already. # look it up. Stratolaunch plane. It's pretty cool.
Strata launch.
It's not as cool as the Spruce Goose.
What's the Spruce Goose?
Spruce
What?
Goose?
Yeah, the Spruce Goose. Don't you guys know about the Spruce
I
Goose?
guess not.
No,
Well, it was Howard Hughes's like plane that he built
Oh,
that was way
yeah,
too
that
huge
big
to
one?
fly.
and it lifted like 4 feet off the ground, and they're like, it
Yeah,
flew.
it never successfully off the ground fly.
Yeah,
It's not as cool.
Huh.
I remember it from the movie.
The Yogi Bear,
Cool.
Yogi and the Spruce Goose, Yogi Bear and the Spruce Goose. That movie,
No, what's the movie with where Leo DiCaprio plays Howard Hughes?
The Aviator.
Yeah, that's the one.
I remember from Yogi Bear and the Spruce Goose.
What else I got here? We got. I couldn't remember if we talked about this, but scientists just released the first ever image of a black hole.
No, man, that's the space
What?
news this week.
When did that? What? I have
April
totally
10th.
not heard about that because I've been living under a rock this last couple days.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Oh man,
I loved.
it's
posted
produced
it
like
and
1,000 memes too.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've seen it. It was like everywhere. Like it was everywhere on the internet. As it just deservedly so. It is pretty freaking neat.
Zell posted. I think whoever posted on our Facebook group of the image, someone was like, some like girl like messaged her friend and was like, they finally got a pic of your vag.
That was, really good. That was really fun.
I was like, oh, ruthless.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh,
ruthless.
savage.
And her friend was like unaware. She was like, well, what's up with this? why are you sending me this? It's really cool. There's the one that's blurry that everyone looks at where it's just like the blurry, like it's zoomed up, but like they have a cooler one that's a little more in focus further out, like pulled back a little bit.
Of
Really
like the whole
cool.
structure of like the whole galaxy.
Yeah, it's
So
very
cool.
cool.
What's it called? The Event Horizon Telescope.
Yeah,
Just a network of like a whole bunch of telescopes all over the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's eight telescopes from around the world. They rely on a technique called very long baseline interferometry. Fuck, I don't know what that means, but
Wouldn't do much better.
each telescope receives the same signal. So,
That's cool.
and they combine them all into a massive file.
Yeah,
The
it's not
resulting
actually a
files are
picture.
so massive, so much so that they led to be stored on physical hard drives and flown to a location where researchers combine them into one aggregate image.
Yeah, they were like, the data was in the size of like beyond terabytes. It's like petabytes, which is like way huger than terabytes. And it's like so many hard drives to be put together. And then I saw all these posts about people complaining about how blurry it was, and I couldn't tell if people were joking or not. And that kind of made me, it's like, wait, you're complaining about this, taking a picture of a black hole that is billions of light years away, and you're complaining about how blurry it is.
That's just modern culture, no matter what it is.
I really hope people were trolling that stuff because I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
You know how far away that is?
It's like 5 billion light years. Like we're looking at we are literally looking at
The past.
images of this black hole 5 billion years ago, because that's how long the light just didn't take it. Because you're fucking complaining about how blurry it is. Like,
it's so blurry. I can't even see it.
oh, it's NASA. What are my tax laws doing?
I can't even see it. It's so blurry.
Get the fuck out of here.
Very cool stuff. That's all I had for space news. Pretty much. That was a big one.
No, that black hole one, yeah, that's the coolest space news in a while. So
Mhm.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, that's one of the biggest things of our generation. Pretty much.
What's that old stealth plane that's been flying around the Mojave Desert again? Out of retirement, the fucking the old big one that looks like a
you too?
yeah, that one. They said it's been sighted zipping around the Mojave Desert as well, and I guess it was long since thought to be retired, and
Right.
it's been spotted a couple times, in the UFO highway there.
Ooh.
Last couple weeks, I've been reading about pretty cool stuff. I don't know what they're doing with it, but
wasn't it for
Dustin.
dropping bombs?
dusting the old bird out. Quick little zip around the desert. Anyone else
Cool stuff.
space news? That's pretty much all I had.
That's it.
Why don't we get into? Why don't we fire up the UFO case file of the week, the Randomatron? Let's do like some sort of weird encounter. Type it, fill it up for encounters.
All right, encounters. Here we go. And we're thinking at it right now.
Encounters.
Oh, perfect. Okay. That's what that sounds like. All right. All right. Let's see what it spit out of me. Ooh, humanoid encounter. This looks like it was posted by Hermes North. Unknown creature in the woods near my house. I was told I might find more information here. This looks like it was posted to Reddit. February? In February?
Cool.
It's pretty recent. All right, here we go. Hold on. Before I get flack, you know New York, you need New York. You know you need unique New York. You know New York, you need New York. You know you need
It's warming up.
New York. Okay.
In those mouth exercises.
You know, yeah.
How now, brown cow?
Ask how brown cow. Okay. Last Monday, I went on a walk into the woods. I usually go there all the time, whether it's spring or winter. A bit of information. I live near Lake Ontario. There's a lot of state land and forests that go on for miles. I live in the middle of nowhere, so I can walk into the woods and keep walking for hours. Because I go on walks, jogs, and play soccer, I'd say I'm fairly athletic. I'm an 18-year-old girl, and I'm not very tall, and I don't weigh much. So I'm a pretty fast runner, too. That's important later.
Okay.
I love that. I'd
Okay.
say I'm fairly athletic.
Thank you.
Sometimes it can get really creepy out there in the woods. Like the boss music in a video game just started at 100 volume. You feel watched and really tense. My mom and grandparents, they live right down the road, always told me that if I start to feel unsafe out there, I always need to leave. That's why they never said why. I always figured they were afraid of coy dogs. It never seemed that important. I did listen to them, though. I always went back home.
Are coy dogs coyotes? Is that what you guys call them?
I
that what you Canadians
don't know what a coy dog is.
Is it a coyote? What's a coy dog? Is it?
I'm guessing it's a coyote or like a dog similar to a coyote.
Oh, a coy dog is. Continue.
Is it a big dog? All right. So Monday afternoon, maybe a bit past 4 o'clock, I left to go walking. I had been out there for 2 days. I had been out there just 2 days before with no problems. But after walking for about a half mile, the feeling that I was being watched began. I was unsettled, but I stupidly thought to myself, you're 18 years old. You have a 7-inch knife on your belt, and the house really isn't that far away. What are you so afraid of? It was stupid. I should have gone home. All right.
FYI, a coy dog is a hybrid between a coyote
anyways,
and a
I
dog.
kept walking, maybe a quarter mile, until I came to an old logging road. It makes for a quick way around the woods. It also connects the road that my house and grandparents' house are on. I was getting pretty tired from hiking through the snow-covered bushes and logs. I kept falling through, and it was making me feel a bit too vulnerable to be openly struggling when I still felt like someone was watching me. And just a few moments before, I could have swore I saw something moving around in my peripheral vision. So I decided to walk down the logging road instead. As I was walking down it, I heard the sound of chains rattling nearby and started looking around for them, thinking maybe it was just chains in a tree blowing in the wind.
As they do.
It's,
As they do.
as will often happen with heavy
Yeah.
chains hanging from
Well,
a tree.
she explains this. It's not uncommon for hunters and ATVers to leave chains, ropes, and random garbage along the path. Still, I couldn't find any chains, and I stopped hearing it after a second. I shrugged it off, but just a few minutes later, I heard them again. It was weird, but I ignored it again. I kept walking and was getting close to my grandparents' land when I heard the chains again. I stopped walking to look around me and checked to see if maybe it was something I was wearing, my jacket, my necklace. It wasn't anything on me. I jumped around to double check and probably looked really stupid. I imagine she did the old the quick yeah.
Is it shaking? Is it moving?
Yeah.
What's that sound?
But I knew it wasn't me making the noise. I decided I'd just go to my grandparents' house and walk back using the actual road. But as soon as I started heading into the woods, I heard something. It sounded like my footsteps had been in time with a second pair that were maybe 10 feet away, which made no sense because there had been nothing there just a moment ago. I took another step and heard something step at the same time from behind me. I didn't turn around. I was too afraid to. It's probably a good thing I didn't. So I acted if I was going to take another step forward, but I stopped my foot right above the snow. I wanted to make sure I wasn't going crazy. Behind me, whatever was there, stepped down. I heard the snow crunch. Then it moved forward again quickly. It must have known I'd figured out it was there. I started running towards my grandparents' land, and whatever was behind me followed. It sounded humanish, and the sound of chains started up again when it started chasing me. The thing definitely had only 2 legs, and it sounded pretty big. There's a lot of thorn bushes, small trees, and things that stay around all year, even in the winter. While I ran around between them as best I could, it was just going right through them. I glanced behind me for a second, and all I saw was really tall, gray, humanoid blur. Before I looked back, in front of me. Timing wasn't on my side. Like I said, it was the late afternoon and the sun was getting low, so it was getting a little dark under the trees. I was running through the thorn bushes at this point because I knew it was getting too close to me, and there was just too many thorns to try going around them all. I was slowed down by them a bit and was sure it was going to catch me, but it never did. I'm not sure if maybe it just didn't care to for some reason, maybe trying to scare me away, or I was still going fast enough that it couldn't catch me. I burst through the final line of bushes and out onto the cleared up edge of my grandparents' yard, then up the hill and to the house. The final stretch was terrifying. I could hear heavy breathing and chains rattling just a few feet behind me the entire time, and it sounded like it was almost growling. My grandparents' dog, a very big Malamute Mastiff mix, was up in the yard near the house and started barking, but he didn't run towards me. He just stayed by the house barking. Then he ran with me to the house when I got close to him. I ran up to the door and went inside. The dog came in right behind me. I slammed the door shut. I didn't hear anything and looked out the window, but there wasn't anything there. The dog was leaning on me, shaking. I was too, so I understood how he felt. We were both really scared by that thing. My grandfather came to the door from upstairs after just a few seconds, and I started crying, and I told him everything after I'd calmed down and could breathe again. He became very serious and told me, "Don't think about it. Just forget it ever happened." I tried to ask him why, but he refused to tell me anything. He just insisted that I forget immediately and keep it out of my mind. But I can't forget. I tried asking my grandmother too, but she didn't say anything and changed the subject. My dad thinks it was a bear, but I know it wasn't. For one thing, you can't outrun bears. My mom acted the same way as my grandparents. They refused to answer any of my questions, so I told a close friend about it the other day, and she didn't know what it was either, but told me I might find similar stories online. Woo!
Cool.
The weird thing with my grandparents, and the parents not telling, that reminds me is it's your brother. He's chained in the woods.
We take a bucket of fish heads out to him. We forgot to take them last. Yes,
Like
Forget
that
what
episode
you-
of,
forget what you
Simpsons,
saw.
Bart's like evil twin upstairs in the attic.
but he was.
Yeah.
But spoiler, he wasn't the evil twin.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dun.
Good story. That's fucking
Great.
terrifying.
Yeah, fuck.
That's just Jeffrey, love. Don't worry about him. He's
Yeah.
nice.
Put him out of your mind.
That's creepy. I was like, why would you not tell your granddaughter about if there's whatever it was, Bigfoot that lived out in your property? Like, it's kind of crazy that the dog though was scared of it. I mean, I've heard of that before. Like the dogs, if they encounter some sort of, people say they've encountered Bigfoot before. Bigfoots.
Well, the other thing too, though, is like if you run, like dogs are really, they pick up on the owners too, right? Not to say there wasn't something that fucking terrified the dog, but if you come in like a fucking state of panic, I think you'd put your dog in, your dog will like sense that dogs pick up on that energy, right?
Mm.
See, why didn't she just wait till the next day, go back out there? It's snow. It's February. And go back out there and like retrace her steps with someone to see what was in the snow.
Well, she did run through the bushes, but it's a good question. We'll have to ask her.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Creepy, man. David Politis says all the time, don't go in the woods alone. There's something out there taking people. So
buddy system.
Yeah, 100%.
Cannot stress that enough. Take your buddy.
Accountability, buddy.
The fucking woods of North America are a terrifying place, and a staggering amount of people go fucking missing every day.
Every damn day.
Don't go in the woods alone.
Especially at night.
That's one thing I've learned, and don't go in the woods alone.
There you go.
You will not come out. You will die.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Just like in a horror movie, don't do it. Like just, you yell at the people all the time in the horror movie. Don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Yeah.
Fucking do it.
They never listen. Never listen.
They never listen.
Get a little Alex Jones.
Why can't
going,
they
don't
hear
go in
me
the
when I
woods,
yell
Joe.
at them?
Don't go in the woods. Something in the woods. They're making babies. I'm an alien baby show.
You are Alex Jones.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Begun his transformation.
Yeah. Transformation complete. I'm a little red in the face. I felt my face heat up when I was saying that.
Just how he talks. That's why he's so red all the time. Just the way he talks is so much pressure in his veins.
Pushing it out. Great story though. That was a good one. It gave me the chills a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's now what are we talking about today there, Dano?
Well, today, since we have we're lucky enough to have Byron here, our resident down under expert.
We found out before the podcast he has been to Port Arthur, and it was in fact still haunted while he was there.
It
The
was.
haunted wasn't closed.
It did not stop being haunted.
It didn't stop being haunted. It was
Public
while he was
holiday,
there,
but
it was-
that was still there, apparently.
You bunch of idiots. Who has said that?
Who asked that question?
Yeah.
Did you want me to
Ugh.
sort of run with this and set the scene?
Yeah, set the scene.
Yeah, go for it.
100%.
Been there.
You probably know
I did. Well,
more about it than us.
I went down to Port Arthur quite. I used to fish quite a lot off there. Really good fishing, good tuna fishing. But I actually have been down to Port Arthur on one of these ghost tours with the wife late at night. And yeah, she's a pretty bloody eerie place. So for those who are unaware, Port Arthur is essentially Australia's Australia. Now, Australia, as you may or may
Best
not
way
know,
to put it.
yeah, well, so all the convicts got sent to Oz, and then when they fucked up in Oz, we sent them down south even further to Tassie, and Port Arthur's right down the south of Hobart and Tasmania, and the reason they put them and built this prison system down there was because it's a small little peninsula with only a very thin landmass with a two-way road connecting it to the rest of Tasmania. So back in the day, your only option to get out is it's kind of like Alcatraz. It was to swim. So that's why they set up the prison down that way and sent all the convicts down there. So, and you may remember talking about Port Arthur. That was why there was a big issue with the massacres down there, because there was one entry in and out. So, yeah, they had set up this prison down there, and they had all the convicts there. But like going into the reasonings behind all the hauntings and stuff like that, or some of the reasonings, is that there was some pretty full-on isolation with the convicts. And yeah, a few other stories I'll get into later on.
I had read some of the stuff that went on in that prison. I was like, Jesus, that's a recipe for fucking people up mentally big time.
Yeah, you had people locked in there. Like if you were in the isolation cells, like you were pretty much in that cell for 23 hours a day. You were let outside for 1 hour of exercise. I don't even think the guards referred to you by name. They didn't refer to the prisoners by name, only by number. And the guards even would communicate using just sign language.
Yeah, I read that too. And I actually heard they had felt on the bottom of their shoes as well to minimize sound. So it was a full, like, silence, sign language. Like, there was no
The
communication,
fucking
nothing.
silent treatment. That's where this came from. The silent treatment.
Well, they were the more unruly, I guess, convicts were down there, and they were put in there. So to try and break that habit is they just took away all their sensory systems. So darkness, isolation, no noise, no nothing. And in the end, like they were in there for, I was in there for about a minute. So I was like, nah, peace, I'm out of this shit. Walking around in there at night, but like they were in there for some of them up for like 30 days, and it actually sent a lot of them fucking crazy, mad.
Give them the old MK Ultra treatment there.
Yeah.
Well, I had read too that they didn't believe in that jail was kind of like fucking new age back in the day. They didn't really believe in corporate punishment. So that was used minimally. What they used more was this psychological fucking just torture, essentially. And they would I read that they'd as inmates would up their troublemakers, the more trouble they get, they'd pull other senses from you. They'd put bags over your head so you can't see, and they'd leave you without sights and sound and isolated in a room. And I'm like, man, we know the effects that shit does to a regular people in solitary confinement in prisons now. Now you're taking away their sight and stuff, and I can in the 1800s, I can only imagine. Ruthless. It's absolutely ruthless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. So why do they call it? Why is it the most haunted place in the Southern Hemisphere? That's what they call it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one
Well, I think
one of Australia's most haunted, and they've got, I think there's they've got binders and binders full of encounters from tour guides that it's still very active as a ghost tour, bringing in good money.
So it is still haunted.
It's still haunted, yeah. It's still going on apparently.
Still on it.
That's good to know. That's good to know, everybody.
But yeah, there is a lot of documentation and encounters from employees as well as obviously guests on this tour. They don't add any, fakery and little sounds and microphones and stuff like this to bring in the money. Even more so, any typical ghost stuff. They're legit. You go around with a couple of candles in little lanterns to try and make periodic appropriate as well, and it's fucking creepy. You're walking around these
Right. They don't hire actors. They don't hire any of that stuff, period actors. I don't have any of that stuff.
Nope.
It's just
It's
you and your lights is what I've seen in some of these tours.
Yeah, it's a history tour, man. That's what it is. And some people see stuff. The day we went, or the night we went, we did not see anything at all. Didn't hear, didn't feel anything. But definitely still creeped out.
So it's not haunted.
When I was there, I think it might have been a public holiday. They might have been away.
Those were sleeping.
Yeah, something like that.
The ghost had the
a
day off.
stat.
No one would get double time.
Well, I think a lot of the sightings and those kind of thing is this prison. A lot of these people developed severe mental illness, and they weren't even doing this just to adults. They were doing this to children as young as 9 years old. There was children serving time in these prison camps, receiving the same psychological punishment as adults, right? And you put that kind of stress on people, you're making some bad energy. If you do that to one person, you're creating some bad energy. If you're doing this to hundreds of people, this is from a movie. You don't do that. You're creating a fucking riff by
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
our
yeah,
brains are
that's-
powerful, and they're doing stuff to our reality that we don't even know. And when you are fucking with someone's mind like this, I don't know, that's a recipe for disaster, I think. So I think that's probably likely why they have so much paranormal activity here.
Well, there is another thing. I don't know whether you guys have heard about this, but apparently one of the doctors there, he used to, and it's implied by staff and records that he used to actually experiment on some of the convicts.
Yeah, he used to do an inordinate amount of dissections. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Dissections.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was in like almost like a basement type section of in the hospital, and they've still got the big slab in the middle of the room that was used at the time as like an operating table and where he'd do his dissections and stuff. And it was like, yeah, just creepy. It looks like something out of like a Saw movie or something like that, where it's just like,
Gives you that feeling.
oh yeah, just creepy as shit.
Creepy as hell.
Yeah, I know they visited that room specifically in one of the episodes of Ghost Hunters International, and one of the crew said he laid down they showed him laying down on the slab, and he said he actually experienced right as he was about to get up, he felt like a slight burning sensation in his chest, which is like, ew, that's when
Ooh.
you'd start cutting.
Yeah.
If you were a surgeon.
I
It's
even remember
really
reading.
strange.
I remember reading that like this place was so grim that prisoners would commit murder. They would murder other inmates because murder in the jail was punished by death. They'd kill you, so they'd murder other people so they could
Just
be
to
killed.
get out.
So
So it's a win-win.
just to get out.
They're like, it's a win-win.
Like that is some fucking toxic
Like, I
energy.
hate that Jerry, and I'll kill him.
Yeah.
And I'll get out of here at the same time. Suckers.
And then it's like they were doing like all the like. Then they were just like throwing bodies in unmarked graves. They have what has to be the fucking most foreshadowing name. They have the Isle of the Dead, which is just off.
It is.
And
yeah.
there's like something like 1,700 graves, and only 180 are marked, and they're prison staff and military personnel. Everything else is unmarked graves. Just fucking toss them in like garbage.
Jesus.
And it's funny though, because you go down to Port Arthur and it's an absolutely beautiful place. Like the waters are crystal clear. The fishing is amazing. The scenery like around and the terrain is really good. Like it's not like they've put them somewhere where it's like
Some desolate.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful area. But yeah, that I forgot about that. Like they do like boat tours around there and stuff too. But yeah, it is. It's literally just a small little island where they've buried a bunch of people. That's crazy.
One small island, thousands of dead people.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. Like that's a horror movie. How horror movies start. Fucking. Not only that, but then I had read like even further back, there was like the Aboriginals that lived there. There was like estimated like 10,000, and when they colonized, they had just decimated the population to the point where there was only 300 left. So now you got like ancient ancient Aboriginal burial grounds going on there too. Like you just compounding like bad everything you read in bad horror movies are like you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Tassie was pretty bad.
They
The
definitely
population's
capitalized on the bad juju.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How much bad karma can we pack into one spot?
That's the
But yeah, it's fucking it's wild. And like you were saying, Byron, it's so picturesque. I was looking at pictures of the prison, and that's got to add to the punishment itself. Like if you're sitting in this jail where you're getting sensory deprived and you're getting ruthless, and then they let you out for a second, you see this pristine beauty that you can never get to.
yeah.
Like it's got to just, man, it's got to wear you down.
Yeah. Byron showed me the picture of this tiny little island right now.
And then
Yeah.
like just even the waters around it, like
Yeah. It looks
it's
like,
almost like Calamanca, like with nice and beautiful
it looks
water and stuff.
almost tropical, but it's
good squid fishing just in here.
it's not, you don't get like winter there though, right? In Tasmania? You're not like snowing.
No, we're not down there. Like you won't get snow down that way, but it gets pretty windy and cold. Like
cold?
the wind goes through your bones pretty good.
It's cold, moist, humid.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
coastal
and
shit.
Moist. Some people hate that word moist, but
Moist.
I
Too bad.
like it. Okay, let's get into some other. What are some of the famous stories?
One of them you have is one of the more famous spirits that is said to inhabit the area is the one of Reverend George Eastman, who had been the parson of the island at the church during the 19th century, or during the 19th century. They said that after he died, like his ghost immediately began to appear in some areas, and they say they can often smell rotten odor coming from the house, or they can hear moaning or other strange noises. And it's not they say it's not unusual to see like around like the entire area, like floating lights and things like that. And that's at least one of them that's weird.
Crazy.
What else we got? I've read one about the lady in the blue dress, woman in blue. I guess she's said to be, she lost her child in the 1800s. She was married to an accountant that worked at the penal colony, and they said she lost her baby during childbirth, and then she would return to this building day after day, and she still does, looking for her unborn child. And many people report that if you see her, she's like pale blue, and some people said that she's been seen laying in a pool of her own blood with her arm broken, and just twisted up on the floor, pale skin and a really light blue dress, and she's always accompanied by like disembodied like laughter of children.
And then Braden, you were talking about inmates actually killing each other as a way to get out of being in prison there. Earlier in the 19th century, when they were actually building the church, it was said that two convict workers had ended up getting in an argument and then started a brawl. And one of them, I believe, like he jammed a pickaxe into the other's skull like 3 times. And it took him at least an hour to die after that. And then they said that caretakers of the church and the tower reported that at one point, like even after the man died, ivy began growing on the church wall everywhere except that one spot where the man's blood had soaked into the ground.
Wow.
Ivy doesn't like human blood.
Guess not.
And that was the big thing, like
doesn't like bad juju for sure.
Yeah, the big thing that convicts were doing there too, and you can still see it right downtown in Hobart, is building the city, and it's all out of sandstone and with a pickaxe. So you can see these beautifully carved square blocks still there now with all the little
that
marks
pickaxe.
with a pickaxe, and it's like you have a look at this one block with 2,000 marks of a pickaxe on one side, and you just think like this whole building was just made by convicts just swing their axe in. And that's the thing, like even when they weren't in the prison, if they were out working, like they're still just laboring away. So you can see how all that mentality and shit living conditions, hard working, like that's gonna fucking mess with you. And when you go, like you've got a beef, so you're gonna hang around and fuck someone else up afterwards. I probably would for sure.
If I had the option to stay around after I died, I'm haunting some people.
Oh, most definitely.
100%.
But it's like, it's like you want to feel bad for these guys, but then again, like this is Australia's Australia. It's like if you were shitty enough to be sent to Australia, and then you were shitty enough to get kicked out of Australia to this place, like you had to be really shitty.
It's like murderers, rapists, and thieves. Just a
you
whole
gotta
colony
be a
of them.
fucking pretty terrible person. Like,
Or
this
a
is
really
probably as
shitty 9-year-old kid because there was kids there.
I don't know. I've met some pretty shitty 9-year-olds.
I would say most of them, arguably.
Yeah, there was reports like in one of the houses we walked through of I think you've got that there, mate, is the lady in a rocking chair just rocking away.
The nanny chair.
The chair's
I read
just
about
still
that.
sitting there, and that's like, again, like that what has happened there, and you're walking around, and although you didn't see stuff, you just get the chills. And this one building, you often there's reports of like footsteps and children running from room to room. People have seen that happen as well. So like it's creepy. And that was just like one of the caretakers' house, I think it was.
Does this chair just rock sometimes, or is it just like always rocking?
No, like just sometimes. It wasn't rocking when I was there, but like people have seen
Get the
it.
chair out of there.
Because it was a
Why?
national holiday, right?
Yeah.
Get the chair out of there.
Ghosts on
Fucking
strike.
glue it to the floor.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Like, okay, if you have a rocking chair in your house, like one of those old wooden ones, what do you expect?
That's
what do you
true.
expect? That's for ghosts.
They're pretty much always haunted.
100%. That's for ghosts. It's a ghost chair. It's
But
not
if
a
you
rock
take it
chair, it's
away
for
from
ghosts.
her, she might get pissy and fucking come down after you. You don't want that.
Just put it somewhere else, man. Put it in the woods.
Burn it.
Put it on the island with the rest of the unknown people.
Yeah, fucking island of the dead. Bury it.
Creepy.
It's yeah, just insane. People see the amount of things like tourists say they see, and I'm sure some of it's, you know, you get the fucking people that see anything and everything they want to see, but I'm sure there's a couple that are genuine people. I'm gonna read a couple out that I had. I have quotes of tourists of what they saw. What they said they saw. I saw a figure of a lady in a crinoline dress. Crinoline.
What's that?
CRINOLINE. Crinoline dress. Imagine it's one of those old dress with like the frills,
frills
and
and
a
shit.
bonnet
Yeah.
with outstretched arms.
Like a zombie.
Yeah. Coming down the stairs, I saw a little girl lying at the bottom of the stairs. And she was sobbing. I could hear her when I came to the top of the stairs. And then when I came down, she disappeared. Well, that's fucking creepy. There's tons of people who claim like video. Like there's this one video I watched of this little girl singing, and she's like laying in a bed, and like she's like, "You're funny," and I'm like, they're like, it's a ghost singing with her, and I was like,
Oh
it's a
no.
little chilling. I'll send the link. I'll pull it up and I'll send the link to you guys. It's a little creepy, but man, you always get those weird places. That's why I think we should go to Riverview one day, because it's nearby, and it's same kind of thing where there's a lot of people with some serious mental health issues that were like treated really poorly, and I think that does something to an area. I find it, people who have like a mental decline or decay, and it's like, and like a mass group of people like that, it does something, man. It leaves its mark.
Like changes your humanity.
Yeah, it's creepy. Like what's that, you know, where we said like the thing where it's the shooting of the photons, where it's like it changes it if it's observed, where it's like
Yeah. Like the double slit
I think
experiment.
of it, yeah, the double slit experiment. I kind of think of it like that too, with like we don't know really like what effect we can have in the like reality. So I'm like, all these people in one spot having this insanely negative experience. I'm like, I think it does something.
Like it doesn't allow, because really right now they say, well, you die and like that's it, like game over. But maybe not. Maybe if you live a life without hardship, or with like this extreme hardship, you just kind of just like pass on to whatever the next dimension. But if you don't, like if you live this life and like your mind isn't right, it does something to you, and like you linger here for a long time. It seems like haunted places are always where there's like extreme anguish, pretty much. Because if it was just dead people, I mean, like 1,000 people die at the hospital like every week, and like the hospital, you don't really hear reports of like modern hospitals being super haunted.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Like there's some reason that you haven't left that place yet. Like we're talking about the lady looking for her daughter, the lady in blue, like looking for her daughter. So she's got something that she's still hanging on to.
Stuck in a loop.
She's hanging around, like she's not ready to go yet because there's something there. These people are
Or something's keeping her there.
yeah,
Ooh.
possibly.
And it's like, I mean, if we were talking about stuff like that, and you're talking about things like, you could be talking about things like black holes, where it's not like it's not a gravitational force, but maybe it's some sort of, you know, psychic, or you could say, like psychic, like a psychic force. And like the more negative energy you have in that thing, the more pull it puts on that, you know, that
It doesn't let.
ephemeral, or the soul, or whatever you want to call it. Like, it puts more hold on that. It's harder to escape that. That's what kind of that negative energy draws on you.
More
When you can
strength,
feel
yeah.
the pull. You feel. These people are saying that they feel strange. You feel a strange heaviness or something like that. Yeah, that could possibly. That's something to think about.
It's kind of a cool theory because it's like everything's energy. So your consciousness has to be energy of some type. So yeah, I guess if you have mass experience of like supreme hardship in one area, and like you say, it's kind of like the energy kind of gets trapped there by whatever force this would be. I don't know.
Right. Or it's drawing on, you could say it's like a black hole. And I think I remember reading somewhere like a black hole isn't like infinite. It is dense, but it's not infinitely dense.
Right.
And it's like once it absorbs enough matter, or it basically fills up. And once it's done, it pops back into normal space. And it could be something like that, where it's like you have enough of this bad juju, you have enough of this negative energy in one spot, and it's just like sucking in the positive energy, or whatever you want to call it, and it can draw on that from people or whatever. But it's such a heavy, some places like this place, which has so much psychological anguish and trauma attached to it, because even in, what was it, 1996, there was a
1996,
massacre
yeah, it was the Port Arthur massacre, which at the time was the largest massacre in the world.
Right, and that triggered like gun reform in Australia, didn't it? Like,
straight
like
up
huge
overnight,
gun
just
reform.
like New Zealand this year when there was the massacre. It's like, guess what? Stopping the guns. Like that. So yeah, they had massive, stopped all semi-automatic, fully automatic guns in Australia, kicked in straight away with that. So there was 28 people, I think, died.
It was like 35 people died, and then like 28 people were injured or something like that.
Yeah. It was big, but like I was saying, like this one tiny little peninsula has had a lot of shit go down there. So it doesn't surprise me that there's, or could be, spirits still chilling around, hanging around there for sure.
Yeah. And then if you think about it, it's what's still trapped there, and it's like what's drawn there, because there's this one story that I found that was really interesting, and it was a story of a prisoner whose name was Mark Jeffrey, and he was serving time for manslaughter, and he lived on that island, the Isle of which they call the Isle of the Dead, where they buried all the bodies.
Right.
And he was the resident grave digger.
Ooh.
And one morning they said that the people on like the main part, the mainland, wasn't on the island. They saw a signal fire, and the authorities sent a boat over to retrieve Jeffrey, thinking something was wrong. And when he got back to the mainland, he told them of what happened. And he said that the night before, his hut had been shaken and rocked, pretty much banged on everything by some sort of invisible force. And what he described as a fiery red glow had lit up the walls and the surrounding ground. And he said that when he managed to get up the courage to investigate, he was confronted by some sort of creature that he said had like glowing eyes, these giant horns, and it was surrounded by what he described as sulfurous smoke.
Wow.
Goddamn Beelzebub.
I'd be swimming. Catch a light up. I'm out.
I'd duel him. I guitar duel him. That's what I would do.
Get out your fiddle.
Oh.
Greatest song in the world.
You have to. If you meet the devil, you gotta duel him. Unwritten rule.
Yeah, that's
Right,
crazy.
he's the greatest at all games. So pick something.
You better be prepared.
Get ready to do.
100% dead.
Challenge him to Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh. I never really played Yu-Gi-Oh. I played a little Pokemon, and then Yu-Gi-Oh came
I've
along.
never
And then
played Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I just think it's really funny. I thought people play Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's cool. I mean, that's fine.
yeah, whatever.
But I was like, I'm sure the devil plays Yu-Gi-Oh cards, though. He's probably got a good collection. But yeah, it's stuff like that where you're like, was that this kind of creature? If it did happen the way that that Jeffrey describes, was that thing like drawn there? You know, by all that negative energy, especially in a place where there's a bunch of just, you know, bodies that had just been buried without any regard for whatever the special sacred rites that we give, or, you know, no thought of like what's going to happen.
Yeah, just
that-
total disregard.
is that what it
just,
was?
Push them away.
Right. And all that brought
Something's
something.
going on in my house here. I'm getting some. It sounds like either there's burglars coming in to murder me, or I don't know. No one's supposed to be. No one else is home, and I can feel like doors opening, and then I can feel footsteps, and I feel like it's like right behind me. It's creeping me out.
Trying
And
to
I have this black screen behind me, so I can't see behind it. It's freaking me out. I can't like check the door to see if
It's a
even
cat.
the door's like open on the other side.
Just keep streaming, man. You'll be right.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
at least you guys
we'll
can
watch you die
witness
at
my-
least. Like,
You witness my demise. I hate talking about ghost stuff because then it freaks me out. I'm on edge now.
Especially when you're home alone.
Yeah.
it's like those videos of those like YouTube streamers who like film the robbery behind them while they're playing video games and shit. Careful.
All right, I gotta check this.
He's
He's actually out.
He's getting up. He's walking down.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, where is he?
We don't know what's going on now because we can't hear
Yeah, he's
him.
got to go check.
We talk about ghosts. All of a sudden, he's hearing shit now.
Just peeking out.
Dude, it's hard to not. I get the chills sometimes when we're talking about ghosts. This fucking shit creeps me out. You know,
Well, ever
it could
since
be
that,
anywhere. It's
Oh,
like,
that one
your
episode
Like my
with
house
the-
has never been haunted. Like I've never had any. You know, I've never had any feeling of like being haunted, like having a haunted house, or any possibility there could be ghosts here. And then it's like we start talking about ghosts. It's immediately 100% house is haunted.
thinking about ghosts. That's like ever since we recorded that one about demons and possession in the studio.
There's
There's that weird that weird interference.
that done me in, man.
If I'm in the studio late, like like 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and it's just like middle of the night, I always hear you hear a little.
I was
a
having
little
expecting
clink.
somebody not to be like another person, not Braden, to sit down in the chair.
Oh.
Just a completely different person.
Little update. No one's still home. I think my cat was just knocking over stuff, but
Cat's
my
just
front
being a
door's
jerk.
locked.
Safe.
You check your
That's not
windows.
going to keep the ghosts out.
Yeah, but now you've locked someone inside.
Yeah, you check the windows.
Oh,
No,
Check the closet.
fuck that.
Under the bed.
But hell no.
You got crawl space.
Yeah, I do actually. It's
Oh,
so creepy.
shit.
I put some weights on it because one time I had a fucking nightmare that I could hear banging, and I went downstairs. I opened the closet, and in my nightmare, it was just like the like because it's like a trap door, and
Evil
it
Dead?
was just pushing,
Just
it was just
pulsating.
pushing up ever so slightly, just pushing up, and then when I like got the nerve to open it, and I opened it, and there was like spiders, but the spiders had human heads instead of where their fangs would be. It was just like little faces. Oh, dude. There's been weights on it ever since. I'll never open it. Never. Fuck that, dude. That's what's down there. 100%. That's what's down there. If I open it, I'm dead.
that's
Face
hilarious.
spiders.
Human face spiders.
Human
I'm on
face
edge
spiders.
now. I
At
hate
least they don't
talking
have
about
fangs,
ghosts.
man. You'll be right. If they got human heads, they're gonna bite you.
Yeah, just fucking clock them in the nose.
Oh, dude. I don't
What are
know.
you talking about?
Freaky.
The human mouth is like the dirtiest thing ever. If they bite you, that thing's getting infected 100%.
And it's not even a human. It's attached to a spider's body, like a big spider.
Canada, you don't have big spiders in Canada, mate.
Is it like a
There is my.
That's
Is it-
not a spider. This is a spider.
That's a spider, buddy.
Braden? Isn't it Apollo Creed size swan or a swan size Apollo Creed?
It's it's like a swan-sized Apollo Creed.
Oh shit, you're dead.
No, it's an Apollo Creed's size spider, like big, like
Oh,
his
it's
regular
huge.
face, and then like his head doesn't look big on a little spider body. It's like proportionate. So it's a big fucking
spider.
So it's a,
it's a big
So it's a
spider.
human with a spider body.
Yeah, dude. It anyways fucked me up enough that I have to. There's probably 100 pounds of like shit on top of that door.
That's not enough.
Effectively
100 pounds, man.
barricaded.
You know how tough spiders are?
You ever try to step on
Yeah,
a
but
big
how's
spider?
the spider's gonna push it up? How's it gonna push it
You
up?
ever seen a trapdoor spider?
He's got 8 legs. Use 4 of those as arms. 4, man. Imagine, think how much you could deadlift if you have 4 legs and 4 arms. Boom.
Yeah, but it's really low down there, so I don't think you can get a lot of leverage.
Have you seen how high those jumping spiders jump? Compared to the
Well, I don't
size
have
of
to
their
worry
body?
about. They're trapped in my crawl space, so
Man,
I'm not worried about them
the
jumping.
pressure, the pressure they can produce, though. You're
Listen,
fucked.
I was so freaked out by that nightmare that I've never even opened that to look in. I've just went, no, I can't.
I wouldn't either. Crawl spaces are
I can't.
weird. Like I don't think I've never lived in a house that had a crawl space in it, and
Oh,
that's weird to have a crawl space, like a weird little. Because you hear all the stories of like those people like who found people living in their crawl spaces or shit like that.
Yes.
Like, oh my god, like the one video where the chick comes out of that dude's ceiling
At
and then, like,
night?
pees in his sink.
Oh,
And then he
yeah.
drinks all his food and like he drinks his food and shit. Oh, that's fucking.
my house growing up
Dude,
had a
that's-
full crawl space. Full crawl space. And I had to clean it. An
Yeah.
8-year-old kid cleaning a crawl space because you get so many cobwebs down there. I had to go down with a little stick, and I used to roll up the cobwebs on a stick and then clean it out
I
and vacuum
remember.
it.
I remember one time I came over for the weekend. That was our chore we had to do: is drag stuff out of there for your dad.
Yeah, that was our childhood. Pretty much, my dad would let anyone come over at any time, as many
Yeah.
friends as I want.
As long as they're in the crawl space
you-
cleaning cobwebs.
And then with chores,
You had to wake up
pulling
and
weeds.
do chores, clean the crawl, like so much shit. But we could have as many parties as we want, as long as you were working the next day.
all the time. It's but this whole Port Arthur one's got me all fucked up now. The only other thing I wanted to talk about is like there's we've talked about Port Arthur before. I couldn't remember when we started looking to it. I'm like, what the fuck, Port Arthur? Why is that so familiar? That's a huge massacre there. The shooting massacre
We already
was in
talked about
Port
that.
Arthur.
We just talked about that.
Or were you-
well,
or
I
were you-
was
or were you
gone
gone?
making sure there wasn't fucking ghosts. Oh,
Nope,
sorry.
before that,
It was
Oh.
before that. You were here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're here.
Oh,
you were
I was
there.
fucking
Unless this is
scared.
not the real Braden.
Yeah, did you leave? What happened? You left,
Yeah.
got the... Oh,
I
shit.
saw that. Fuck.
Knew it. He's possessed. Possession. Got it. Nailed it.
But no, you're right, mate. 1996.
Well, it's crazy. Like that's just more stuff. I was reading a theory that some people think that guy might have been possessed, but I don't know if I put much weight to that. But we've been down that rabbit hole before.
We
Yeah,
have.
He
yeah.
definitely wasn't mentally there fully.
he was like a gun savant. He had to be.
Well, the other claims is that,
Conspiracy.
yeah, that he wasn't, his IQ was not very bright. But that being said, too, like if you've got a hyper focus on a certain passion,
Yeah, we talked about it before, but there was no record of him like practicing thousands of rounds of shooting, was there?
no, not that they were aware of.
And I remember talking about too. He had a high percentage of headshots
yeah,
in a short. He
And,
shooting was really
dude-
quick too, wasn't it? Like he.
And since then, I've looked into that a little more since we did that podcast because I'm always kind of interested in that fucking the crime and true crime and stuff like that. Some of the I never realized like how ruthless some of the shit he did, and like some people get upset. So I gotta say, trigger warning. He shot a mom holding her kid with her young daughter, like young, like it's got to be like I was 6 maybe, young daughter. He walked up, he shot the first kid, and the other little girl went running, and he chased her down
Jesus.
to shoot her. Like didn't just shoot her, chased her to shoot her.
And
I'm like,
was
that
the
is
mum still alive?
that
at the
is
time?
some. No, he killed the mom. He killed the mom first.
I kind of
and then
want to
the-
say that's good because she didn't have to witness that. It's still fucked up that he did
It's-
that, but like, imagine if he did that first. Imagine if your last memories was watching.
He's like this guy
your-
chasing your daughter.
your 2 kids. Yeah,
Man, that's some cold ass like
Dark.
dark shit
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
that happens there. And I'm
And
like,
that's a big thing.
it's-
And
it's-
like they were saying that they don't believe that he was mentally capable of doing. That's where this conspiracy comes in. That it wasn't actually him. He was just a fall guy. There was mass government. I can't remember now, but like there's a big conference in Hobart at the time, and there was a lot of extra police presence in Hobart, larger than normal. at the time because of all these government figures in Hobart, which is adding to that.
Were they meeting about gun control?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
No. But they were saying like just the fact that they were all there and there's the extra high police in the area, timing wise, how convenient.
How quickly he killed all those? Yeah,
Okay,
we've talked about it before,
let's-
but I'm
okay,
not on board. I'm not fully caught up.
let's go to a different. Let's theorize a little bit more on the. So let's say he did it 100%, but let's say, let's get into maybe it was something to do with, like, we've talked about all that bad energy there, right? And he
Yeah.
was someone that's not sound of mind, right? Maybe he had some weak mind and he was susceptible to this, like, some people
Awesome.
claim that they're really, like, can feel these energies and stuff, right? I'm not a big energy or crystal person at all, but right, maybe he was someone that was like susceptible to like all this like negative energy that was just inherent in the area, right? That pushed him to this. And from reading about him, he had some things happen. He had that like girl that he was really into pass away, and then he just did all this weird shit leading up to it. So like maybe he was like in touch with some weird like energy of the area.
So he got possessed by interdimensional demon.
I'm not even saying, I don't want to say possessed because I don't want to say that he was not at fault or of any kind of way.
Yeah.
But like maybe this just like brought it out. You know what I mean? Like
Influenced him.
Coerced him to
influenced
do
him.
it.
Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's like peer pressure. You know what I mean? If he's someone that's like he's got this weak mind and he's hearing voices and he's in this area that's got all this bad energy, right? You know what I mean? Like maybe that was influencing. Like we were saying before, and again, I'm just theorizing. All this negative energy built up in this place, so maybe he was,
quite
artistic on
possibly.
some level, and was tapping into something that we're not even aware of.
Well,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, honestly, that was like my first thought. That was one of my first thoughts. I read about the massacre thing, about being happening near or on Port Arthur. I was like, maybe it was something like that. And I also don't want to absolve him of any fault of his own. Maybe he was just on the edge, like he was already thinking about doing it, and maybe that energy pushed him over. But it's a lot of like the kind of stuff, like whether it's I don't know if it's just places or even times where you get a lot of the stuff that's associated and like bad juju. Like, for example, for today, we're recording today, what is it, April 15th?
Yeah.
Like April 15th, and this is like the same day the Titanic sank. It was like the same time that Abraham Lincoln was shot, and now it's also the day that Notre Dame burned down.
Cathedral, yeah.
So-
Dude, it was a lot of weird shit happened today. Like there was a shooting near our hometown.
well, there's
in
probably
Vernon.
like 10,000 shootings today worldwide.
Well, I'm just saying putting in context at the time.
Right.
That's an area of like that has literally never happened.
Yeah, it's out
In
of
that area.
character.
So
for
out of
the area.
character.
Yep, for sure.
Was it 4 murders?
4. Yep.
4 murders, right? Of a guy just shooting people.
60-year-old
Well,
man.
no, they say it was targeted. It wasn't random, but still.
Yeah, still.
And then part of me wants to go real nuts with it, like real full on crazy. And
Let's
be
hear it.
like, maybe they were trying to bring back the demon that they heard about. Maybe they were trying to summon it back. Like
Oh.
they're trying to get back that really bad negative energy, and they're trying to open something up and bring it back. That's a good.
like who is like powers that be or like?
Oh yeah, that's
influencing
what you
this?
said about the conspiracy, that this guy
Yeah.
was just a fall guy. Maybe he was the sacrifice or something like that. Plus all that other, everybody else, the blood for the blood god or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They were trying to bring it back for some reason or something. I don't know. No, that's real. That's full on 100%. Go crazy with it. It's for me.
Right down the rabbit hole.
Over the edge.
But you could imagine some sort of secrets. I mean, you could, in my realm of imagination, as not far to be like some secret society was trying to bring back a demon or something like that. It's not that the fact that somebody has seen one there and there's a definite presence, and there's definitely this, like, if there was a place you were going to summon a demon, that's where you would do it.
Wouldn't be a bad spot.
You know, with
Let's do a
all the
Ouija
bad
there.
stuff that's happened, if you were going to summon a demon from hell, like this is as close. I would think that metaphysically, this would be the closest you would get to hell, you know, on like a plane wise. It'd be just how much bad stuff has gone down there, and just the everything that's gone there. If there was going to be some sort of thinning of the veil between a bad place and our dimension, like this is one of the places that it would be.
And I'll agree with that, because some people are going to say, well, there's tons of bad stuff happens other places, but like, you know, it's places where humans are doing it to each other. Like it's a choice. Port Arthur's one, like definitely like Auschwitz would be another one. I've been to one, the killing fields in Cambodia. Like you walk onto that place and there is you could just feel it, man. It's heavy. The air is heavy. It's like right away you're like, this is a bad place. I don't like it. The second I stepped off like the bus we went to on it, like it's weird that there's areas like that where you're just like, it's sobering, almost sombering.
Yeah. And Tassie, it has an animal called a devil that's only found on that island. That
shit.
Tasmanian devil.
It's called the devil because it screams like the devil, right?
100%. So I camped with a school group, me and a mate.
Like a metal devil? Yeah!
Not quite like that. Like it was
Terrifying.
We had, I think there was like 16 students with us. We're all camping in tents just around on that peninsula as well, actually, the Port Arthur Peninsula. And it was about 1 o'clock at night. The kids had just finally bloody gone to sleep, and me and the other teacher were there. And then all of a sudden, there's just I was like, what is that a devil? He's like, yeah, man, that's a Tassie devil. And it was what I could only imagine a devil would sound like. It was just crazy. And I'm like, fuck, I totally understand why they're called a Tassie devil now. Not because they spin around.
Here it is. Here's a Tassie devil.
Hey, Will, shut up in the seat.
Okay.
It'll shut up in a second. Yeah, that's exactly what they sound like, man. Like it was freaky as shit.
Nope, I'm out.
Yep.
But they're not even that big, right? Like they're
No,
not
they're like a
even,
fucking big rat.
That's still a terrifying sound, but they're not even that. Yeah, like a raccoon size, right? Like
A little bit smaller, actually.
Smaller, yeah.
God, they're little fuckers.
Yeah,
They're
but
mean little things,
they're
though,
like
yeah.
power to weight ratio for their bite, like pound for pound, is up there, like with hyenas or even higher than hyenas. Like it's one of the top in the animal kingdom.
Yeah, for its size, it's fucking got a bite
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like
yeah.
a fucking devil, man. Like, listen to that shit. It's like, you're on an island where there's been massacres and we've killed the native inhabitants originally.
That sounds like something trying to force its way through the veil.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was
That's-
freaky shit.
It's just I think
Wait.
just summed it up. This is Australia's Australia, and it's just like, these are like the worst of the worst people. Like
Look at Dan.
that's so perfect. This is Australia's Australia, and I'm like, damn, that's that's exactly
Red old
what
Tassie.
it is.
Yeah, when
What
I
places?
heard that, I was in Canada when someone told me that. Like, yeah, oh, you're from Tassie? Yeah, that's Australia. And I just lost my shit. I was like, you could not describe it any more
Australia's Australia.
perfect. I love Tassie, don't get me wrong.
Byron lived in Tassie for a while.
I would head back there. If I go back to Oz, I would love to go back there, but the wife wouldn't like that. But
It's
No,
haunted as fuck.
yeah,
That's why.
exactly. And cold and miserable. But no, beautiful spot. If you take away the death and
Fucking devils
Sodom
and the
and
demons
devils.
and thousands of murdered people, convicts, rapists, thieves.
snakes.
And you still had all the other like poison. You have like, are there still on Tasmania? I'm not 100%. Are there still all the animals on there trying to kill you just like they are on the mainland Australia? Do they have all the
Most of them.
fucking
Yeah, I was
snakes
going
and
for a hike
spiders?
around there and ran into a tiger snake, and you still got your
Yeah, okay.
spiders. You don't have the funnel web, and a few of the eastern browns and other sort of big predator. Well, not predator, but snakes. You don't have crocs down there. It's just too cold down there. But then again, as soon as you go into the ocean, you got your great whites coming up into the harbour, and good mako shark fishing actually just off Port Arthur as well. So
Mako sharks are
you just
terrifying.
got a different kind of.
Sounds
things you
terrible.
worry about.
Thanks.
And we're not going.
Cross that one
Off the list.
Me and a mates
I'm out.
caught a thrasher shark down there, actually, just off Port Arthur.
Those are cool looking
They were-
fish.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Those
Thrasher-
are neat.
Fucking delicious, too.
There's a great story too about that prison. I forgot is I have no idea how the logistics worked on this, but there was an attempted prison break where a guy put on a skin of a kangaroo. And he was like hopping his way fucking out. But there was such a lack of food in the area that the prison guards started shooting at him because they wanted to kill the kangaroo to get some more meat. And he had to shed the skin and be like, no, hey,
Surprise,
it's
it's
me.
just me.
It's me. It's a prisoner. And they gave him 150 lashes for the attempted escape.
Wow.
I kind of call bullshit on that because they don't have the big reds kangaroos down there that they do in.
Like I
on
said,
mainland.
I don't know the logistics.
Yeah.
That's just this one of the stories I read. How the fuck do you get a kangaroo skin into the prison?
Well,
Like that's what I have a lot of questions about
like
it.
Maybe it was a skinned one. Maybe it was already skinned.
So then they're just giving the fur to prisoners. Like how the fuck do you? That's a lot of fur.
That's true. I don't know. Good question.
How to sneak that in?
Maybe it's bullshit.
If you're sneaking that much fur in, you can probably just sneak someone out.
Again, like the grounds are a lot different now. Obviously, since like back in the day when they would have had, I'm assuming, walls up and stuff to keep the prisoners in. But the grounds, there is a lot of grass there, and you like kangaroos and wallabies are pretty common down that way, and wombats. But like they're usually a lot smaller down there than your typical big red kangaroos that you get up north. So, like you're looking at maybe like a 4 foot. But again, back in the like 1800s, humans were smaller overall.
So maybe this
So,
guy's like 5'2".
yeah, maybe he was like just above the technical legal height to be not small, and he could fit into a wallaby potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
possibly.
it's so- maybe he's sewed a couple together.
He got into the pouch. He crawled into the pouch of the kangaroo
Yeah.
and bounced him out.
I've convinced people that we used to ride kangaroos to school, sit in their pouch, and go to school, and then the kangaroos would be in the paddocks while we're at school,
Waiting
and
for
you'd
you.
jump back in the pouch, and then you'd bounce back home, and then like
That's how it works. I mean, that's
not how
you
it
guys
works?
Keep your carbon emissions down, right? Like that's-
it is. I was quite lucky. I had it. My kangaroo was 120 hops per minute, so it was a pretty quick kangaroo.
Pretty fast.
But yeah, some of the other mates weren't quite as fast. But yeah, good mode of transport, bit of fun, quite comfy in there.
What's that? What is
had a
Do you-
6-disc CD changer.
Is your
in
cars like when you buy a car in Australia? Do they say like, this thing's got 350 kp?
Not quite. KW.
That's too bad. Let's wrap this one up. I was gonna read some 5-star reviews on iTunes. Oh, but we're all fresh out.
Fresh out.
We haven't got a 5-star review in a little while, which is a little sad.
Sad face.
Maybe we just haven't got an update from
Sad.
the website that sends them to us.
That's probably true. But anyways, the last one it says was April 4th. So no reviews. No 5-star reviews.
I don't think there's any on Facebook either.
Either. Yeah. No, it's just all around me are familiar faces, worn out places,
Podcast is
worn
over.
out faces.
That's all right. We got hundreds. I
Yeah.
don't know what we've read. We can't really go back that far if we missed one way back. So We got Prolapser of the Week. I'm giving it to our boy Matty Bob.
Yeah, Matty.
Got himself a shiny new Alien Theorist Theorizing t-shirt from TeePublic.
Looking good. I like the teal color.
He's part of our Facebook group now. He's been active on there, and that's pretty much all you need to do to get Prolapse of the Week sometimes.
Yeah.
We got some new Patreoners. Whoop. You're not on our Patreon. We got some wicked stuff on there now. Get on there. It helps us grow the podcast. Helps us stay ad free. A lot of podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of indie podcasts, and they always say, "Oh well, we wanted to keep this podcast fan supported, but we had to use ads." Not us.
Hell no.
100%. We're almost at 100 episodes ad free. We've never done a single ad, so help us support it. If you don't like listening to ads and you just like listen to us right through, just throw us a $1 on Patreon. It helps.
The show is going live soon.
Live. We need one more Patreoner to fulfill our goal, and then we've got to do a live stream.
Sorry,
promised.
I should say it's going live for Patreon first.
Oh yeah,
Patreon first. And we'll decide what we're going to do in the future. But start there.
So we got new Patreoners: Roy Powell, 2G No Hose, Emma CS, Bobby Hill, Bobby, Caitlin Musavi, Jonathan Perez, and Matt. I know I've read the next one, so
cool.
Sweet.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome to the team. I got a couple new shirt designs coming out. I'll drop them into this week.
I was going to ask you. It's been a while since you said we are going to do one a month, and it's been a little while. So
yeah, I've got 3 now. I've got 3.
All right.
I've got 3. I'm going to post out. 2 are some OG, like I made them, and 1 I got one awesome fan one. I'm going to use. So end of the week. I'll post about it end of the week. What else we got? Anything else?
I'm going on tour with the band. I'm going to keep telling you until I leave. So if you have never heard my band, it's called Lucky Monkey. You can find us on any streaming service. I'm placing another song at the end of the episode here. I'm going to do the song called All That I Wanted. And if you're in Canada and most of them...
All that I wanted was another baby.
Got emotion.
All that I wanted was another baby. Yeah.
Pretty much
That song,
a cover
right?
of that song. 100%.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's a Canadian
Excellent.
tour, so you can find all the dates at luckymonkeymusic.com and come out because we have no fans anywhere else besides PC, so see what happens. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about some aliens because most of our shows were the opening or second band, so we've got all night to talk about whatever. Come on out.
Nice. All right, guys, as we say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the skies.
Should've made love to me. Should've been all I wanted.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable. Ah.